Welcome back here to Mighty Mac on YouTube. The first day of the 2024 part of the NHRA season is officially underway. We've had the first two rounds of pro qualifying take place, have some young faces making their debut, have a legendary driver making their debut as well, and we've had some big moments that have been long awaited in the sport. Let's get right into it as we cover today's Friday recap here at the Gatornationals. So like I said, we've had the first two sessions for the pro categories here for the new era of the NHRA Mission Fuels Drag Racing Series season. And the one thing I do want to point out is if you look at the starting line, they've painted it red. It looks very much like the Winston era, and I got to tell you right now, that feels really good to see. I love the new red brand. I want to give a big shout out to Mission Foods for the support that they have given the series so far, because we've seen the whole rebrand that the NHRA has done. Huge props to all the people in the NHRA media and marketing for doing that. You've seen new banners. You've seen the upgrade with the scoring, with the track facts and everything of sorts. They've done a really good job in bringing in the new era, and Mission Foods has done a really good job with supporting it with what we see right here. We've been giving away chips all day and doing it all weekend, and apparently they gave away Hawaiian sweet roll chips, which Steve Torrance said that they have somewhere. I'm hoping that we're able to get some because I'm very interested in trying that. Of course, we have the 4 sessions. Let's jump straight into it so we can show you the interview highlights that we've had from today with Austin Prock and Steve Torrance, as well as the highlight videos. So let's get straight into it. In top fuel, Steve Torrance, #1 qualifier, 3.690, takes top honors away from Sean Langdon, who had a really impressive day. Was #1 qualifier at the end of the Q1, held on to it for the entire session start to finish, but at the very last pass, Steve Torrance stole it away from him, so he falls short with a 6.97. Mike Salinas, the reigning winner from this event last year, 3rd. Doug Clay, the reigning champion, who was also equally impressive, back in 4th with a 7.23. Clay Milliken in the night had a really impressive run. The big question with now the new crew chief on that car, Nick Bonifani. They put Nick Bonifani on the car. Back at Bradenton, they said they finally have a cool track setup, which has been their Achilles heel for the entire time that they've been together with Jim O. Jim O's found his confidence. Nick Bonifani is the exact thing that they needed. They said they had a cool track setup, and they proved it there. A 7.23 in the pitch darkness here at Gainesville to end off day 1, bumps him to 5th. Tony Schumacher, top half, a return for the Sergeant, a track he's done so well at. He finds himself in the 6th spot with a 7.28. Tony Stewart, debut, just to give you the update on how that went. He started off the day, had to shut off early, ran a 3.89, a pretty impressive run for a guy that had to shut the car off. Ends up 7th at the end of Q2 with a 7.39. Trip Tatum with an impressive run in 8th, bottom half of the field. Doug Foley 9th, Josh Hart 10th, Billy Torrance 11th, Brittany Force 12th, Sean Reed debut 13th, Antron Brown at a disappointing 14th, Justin Ashley at a really surprising 15th considering how well he's been doing in the past, and then Cody Crone in his 2nd ever start finds himself in the bottom. In funny car, Austin Prock takes top honors with a 3.820. You know, for a guy who has rookie stripes on that car, he really doesn't seem like a rookie. He won the $250,000 back at the Bradenton PRO Shootout, stealing it from the funny car champion Matt Hagan. Has an equally impressive run, the 2 fastest runs of the day, and a new track record in his debut in NHRA. That is no rookie whatsoever. He is going to be a threat to be reckoned with. Bob Tasker the 3rd and 2nd, Ron Capps 3rd, Matt Hagan 4th, Chad Green in 5th, J.R. Todd 6th, Alexis DeJoria in 7th, with Cruz Pedregon running out the top half. John Force down in 9th. A good start for Blake Alexander in 10th. Huge shout out for Terry Haddock. They have been chasing the 3-second run for the past 2 years, have been so close multiple times. They've had 4.00s, 4.01s, time and time again. That has been biting them in the ass for the past 2 years. They've been slaving away at it. A 3.989. They finally broke through, and if you saw them on the starting line, they were celebrating like they won the damn race. Michaelan Haddock, Terry's son, was running from the staging lanes to celebrate with the crew and was pumping his fists in the tow vehicle going up to the top end. They did not show it on NHRA TV, but I guarantee you, if you watch the Haddock Automotive vlog, you're going to see a crying Terry Haddock with his son, who had to experience that with him. This has been a long time coming. It was the most emotion Terry Haddock's probably shown in a long time, and it was a very much awaited moment for the series. Daniel Wilkerson debut in 12th. Jim Campbell in 2008 Chevy Impala in 13th. Buddy Hull 14th. Paul Lee 15th. And John Smith in 16th, with Dave Richards rounding out in 17th. Has not been able to get a good run. Eric Enders takes top honors in Pro Stock. Christian Quadra had a really good run in Q1. Was able to only fall up just short in Q2, but it looks really strong going into this weekend. Finishes 2nd. Dallas Glenn 3rd. Greg Anderson 4th. Troy Coughlin Jr. in 5th. Matt Hartford 6th. Jake Coughlin Jr. has returned to Pro Stock. He has not lost his way. Finds himself in 7th. Aaron Stanfield 8th. Derek Kramer in 9th, Fernando Quadro Jr. in 10th, David Quadro in 11th, Brandon Foster 12th, Jerry Tucker, Larry Morgan, Kelly Murphy, and Eric Latino round out the field. And then your current cars not in the show out of your 22-car field: Kenny Delco, Cameron Caruso, Chris McGahey, Sienna Wildgust in her debut, a 17-year-old making her debut in Pro Stock, Mason McGahey, and then the lone Dodge Dart rounding out in 22nd, Alan Pruzinski. In Pro Stock motorcycle, you have 3 guarantees in life: death, taxes, Gage, goddamn Herrera, #1 qualifier so far. Matt Smith in a not-so-distant 2nd. That Buell looks really fast. Steve Johnson 3rd. Ellie Tonglet making a return to Pro Stock Motorcycle this year in 4th. Richard Gatson debut in 5th. John Hall in 6th. I want to correct that, debut on Vance and Hines. John Hall 6th. Hector Ronis Jr. in 7th. Chase Van Sant in 8th. Ryan Ayler in 9th. Mark Ingerson in 10th. Gianni Evaristo in 11th. Chris Bostick in 12th. Bud Yoder II in 13th. Hector Arana Sr. making his surprise return to Pro Stock Motorcycle. It was a big surprise. Nobody really knew he was doing it. This was a last-minute deal apparently, because there was not on the entry list as of Tuesday, but shows up for Q1 and finds himself in the show in 14th. Wesley Wills 15th, Kelly Klons in 16th, and then the two riders not in the show are Angie Smith and Joey Gladstone. So we have a lot of highlights of your #1 qualifiers for today, as well as some interviews. Let's get into that and then wrap up the event for here today at the Gatornationals.
.675, 198 miles an hour for Gage Herrera. Makes himself even oneer. John Hall, 682, 196, put him number 6. How about Gage? That's about where he was all last year in the #1 qualifying spot. Both of them really hustling on the short numbers. 6.550, and Erica Ender stole the top spot by 0.02 of a second. Christian goes 6.552. Looking at the numbers down the racetrack, unbelievable. Erica Enders, #1. What a big old meanie. Wouldn't even let Christian have the #1 spot on Friday night. And the answer is 3.820. Austin Prock goes back to the top.
To have had the start that you did at Bradenton when you went out there and just tore apart the field and took home $250,000, to now back it up today in your debut by breaking a track record on your second ever run, just what kind of confidence does that build for you as you head into the season, as you try to live up to the hype that Robert Height has put in that car and try to battle for this championship?
Yeah, we have been off to a good start, but it's a long season. It just shows you how strong this team really is. They put this car together the exact same way every time, and that gives my dad, brother, and Nate confidence to make those calls up on the starting line and really get the most out of the ET. When you're running this quick, you're right on the ragged edge, and you got to be perfect, and the driver can't be yanking on the steering wheel in there. Or, you got to be smooth and get it to point A to point B as quick as you possibly can. So yeah, it's definitely a lot to take in, but the way this thing has been running and the confidence I see in my dad and brother and this whole team, I think it's going to be running like this for a while.
Antron's off the throttle in 3.690. 333 miles an hour. Put the Capco boys back on top.
I talked to Matt Hagan earlier, and he brought up the fact with the crowd that going around that turn to the staging lanes and seeing the stands packed as they were today and how they've been in the past, that it puts goosebumps in his arms and fires him up. Seeing how the crowd is today compared to already what it was last year and what we're expecting was tomorrow, what would it mean to you to go out to the call out and see that sold out crowd? What is your message to any of the fans that might question whether or not should I come out here and spend time with the NHRA?
you know, I've never brought anyone to the drag races that hasn't been, that has never been to the drag races, that didn't instantly think this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And so if you're on the fence about whether or not you want to come because you know, it's I can watch it on TV. No, you can't watch it on TV. You can't smell nitro. You can't feel sound. You can't. Every sense that you have is stimulated by a top fuel car. When you feel the ground shake and the car alarms out here a mile away go off, and you're crying because you don't want to, and you're coughing because it's so bad for you, and it's the fastest, most accelerating or quickest accelerating vehicle in the world, and you're standing there watching it thinking that guy is a little bitty guy and he's an idiot. There's nothing to describe it. And so back to how I started that, I've never brought anyone to the drag races that was kind of on the fence about it, that didn't leave, and they're like, man, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen, and how do I get down there? And then they call you 2 weeks later and like, man, we were watching it at home this weekend and we had the surround sound on and the TV as loud as it would go, and I'm standing there in the living room jumping, because once you experience it, you're like, man, that guy is completely lost it. He is off of his rocker. He climbed in a little bitty like antenna, laid over sideways, strapped himself to it, and they sent him down through there at 335 mile an hour. Something is wrong with that guy. And people love watching it because there's fire going everywhere and they blow up, and I mean all kinds of stuff. The things that you like to see, I don't like to experience, but it's fun.
And we already heard that you want the team to have the decision. You don't really know where it's going to be, but from your personal standpoint, who do you personally want to be able to face in round one and get to go at them?
I like to beat everybody.
Is there anybody in particular that you badly want to face off against?
That's a loaded question, because with me it's just any given day. I mean, my target kind of changes, and I figured out something about myself by watching the Michael Jordan documentary. I gotta have a target. And in years past, I've always been pretty vocal about the target. And in recent years, I've just been a little more quiet about it and keep it to myself. But you gotta have something that motivates you and something that drives you, and it's different from day to day for me, from round to round for me. So every one of these guys and girls out here are the best, or they wouldn't be here. And anytime you get a round win against any of them, it's good. It's better when it's on a hole shot. It's definitely more agonizing when it's on a hole shot loss. But it's what we do.
So that'll wrap it up here for Friday. The start of the NHRA season is here. The electricity is in the air. I want to give a shout out to the fans. From 9 a.m., traffic was back down the road. The stands were packed for Q1 on a Friday afternoon. If history repeats itself like it did last year, get here early tomorrow, because this is going to be insane. We spent 3 hours in traffic last year trying to get here on Saturday with the hype of Tony Stewart, with the PRO Shootout down in Bradenton, and with the history of the Gainesville faithful that come here every year. This is going to be an event that's going to be off the chain. If you have not been here, you've seen in the Tony Stewart interview that I did, you've seen in the Steve Torrance interview I just did, if you are on the fence about coming to the NHRA, by all means, get off that damn fence and come out to Gainesville, because this is going to be one of the craziest events that you're going to see all year. This is one of the crown jewels of the season. It's going to kick it off. So if you're thinking about going to the IndyCar in St. Petersburg, I'm sorry, save your money, come here, go in the pits and enjoy the Gatornationals and the sights and sounds of NHRA, because anybody who has never been to an NHRA race and comes here for the first time falls in love with it. There isn't a single person that has been to an NHRA race who says they hate it. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to follow along, subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it, so that way everybody can see this video and get in love with drag racing. Thank you for the support. Follow me on all social media pages: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Threads, at MightyMac03. The links are down below. Be sure to check it out, because we have been posting updates all day, as well as photos that we're going to be taking, as well as social media graphics of the qualifiers, as well as heads up for the schedules. Like, for instance, what's going to go happen tomorrow. The reason why they're running late tonight, they're going to move the schedule up to they're moving the schedule up for the top fuel call out starting at 9:30 for, I believe, the call out, and then the first round of qualifying was supposed to take place at noon. It's going to moved up to 11. So again, get here early. If you're watching NHRA TV, 11 a.m. Eastern is when Pro Stock is going to hit the line for Q1 or Q3, I should say. And then of course you're going to have the top fuel call out. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, I'll do all that fun stuff. And until Saturday, this has been Mighty Mac, and I'll see you next time.